Thanks for staying with us. This is Newsline. I'm Michael Chigani. My guest, a very special guest, Mr. Allan Zeman. You all know him. Now, Mr. Zeman, just before the break, we were talking about whether you, because I know you have told me personally many times that you are doing the Lan Kwai Fong brand in many first and second tier cities. On the mainland, people always say, oh, you know, Li Ka-shing is disillusioned with Hong Kong and he's going to pull his money out. He has denied that many times, but people still believe in it. You yourself, you know, by going to, you're constantly on the mainland. I've tried to get you on this show for so long. I finally got you, because you're always away. Now, so you're spending more time on the mainland than you are in Hong Kong. I'll ask you the same question. Are you pulling your money out of Hong Kong?
Absolutely. Because
you have said that Hong Kong really is facing a grave, grave possibility of being left behind.
Yes, absolutely not. I don't really believe that Li Ka-shing is pulling his money out.
You're not.
I know. I'm certainly not pulling my money out. You know,
are you putting in as much as you used to?
Yes, Hong Kong is my home. Hong Kong will always be the place that I admire. The one thing we have the strength of Hong Kong, the rule of law, the low tax base that we have. That drives Hong Kong. It's a secure place. People really still believe in it. The world opinion of Hong Kong is still there. Yes, other countries are catching up with us, but I still believe we have that strength. It's not a big place, it's a small place. Being next to China, I always tell young people, China is the best future for Hong Kong. If I was 20 years old and starting off in business, I'd be looking at the Chinese market. You got 1.3 billion people there who now have a lot of money. Consumer spending is a big thing in China at the moment. So why not take advantage?
But you know, you did say we have the rule of law, we've got freedom of speech, we've got all these things, but you still did say because of this, you know, you said the British used to rubber stamp stuff and things used to work, and now people have become very divided. You've said that. You know, Jackie Chan, the movie star, said Chinese people really don't know how to handle democracy, and they need somebody to control them. The British did that to a certain extent, and you said they rubber stamp policies, and we were fine. Do you agree with Jackie Chan? That you know, Chinese people don't really need democracy.
No, I don't really agree. I think that the system for China at the moment, where China is in their history, I believe the system is right for China, and they're moving in the right direction. I think that eventually, as Hong Kong, people need universal suffrage.
So you do believe firmly in democracy?
I believe in absolutely. I believe in democracy. What is democracy? At the end of the day, it's people having a happy life. If your life is good, if your children are in school, have the ability to learn, you have freedom, you're prosperous, then it's good. Whether it's democracy or not, whatever the system is, I haven't figured out yet what the right system is. I look at the US, I look at Europe, I look at different systems. They all have their pluses.
Thailand is not working very well.
Yes, they all have their pluses and minuses. So a country needs to be ready. The people need to be ready to have full so-called universal suffrage. And that's why I say Hong Kong needs to go step by step. I think
when
if
you
we
say
rush
step by step, what do you mean? Because
I mean,
the Democrats say we must have true universal suffrage 2017. What is step by step?
What is true universal suffrage?
I don't know.
I mean,
but what do you mean by step by step?
What I say step by step, in the past, we've had a nominating committee that has served Hong Kong. Yes, the people, the candidates that stood, maybe had the blessing of Beijing, and the people were voted in by the nominating committee, basically, not by the people of Hong Kong, who they supposedly represented the different.
Right.
Now, so what I'm saying is that we had stability for a while, and now we're going to take it a step further. But I think if we go all the way,
but that was what was promised, Mr. Zeman, all the way to universal suffrage.
Everybody will have the chance to vote for whoever the candidate is. Even in the United States, you've had weak presidents with the so-called full universal suffrage. We've had weak candidates, you've had weak presidents.
But when you say step by step, do you mean that some candidates should be screened out at this point?
I say no. I say that the people of Hong Kong we need to have a system where within the nominating committee, the so-called Democrats or whoever wants to has a chance to at least run if they win enough votes. So I understand.
You're saying we should rule out civic nomination, public nomination, but yes, have a nominating committee that will allow even Democrats to be nominated as candidates.
Exactly. And then it's up to the people of Hong Kong. And basically, I think the people of Hong Kong are smart enough at the end of the day to vote for whoever they feel is the right candidate. And I think that...
So no screening?
We need to go...
But Beijing wants screening.
I think that they can look at... I think they can look at a way that people have the ability to stand for election. I honestly believe, and I believe it's really getting the confidence of the leaders up in Beijing. I think that's really very, very important.
Would you agree that's lacking?
I think it's lacking basically because of the way Beijing looks upon us, the way we've acted, and I don't blame Beijing. And I believe that if we really pull together and we show that we can, that we have the maturity to really...
We have not shown that. We have not shown we have the maturity.
I don't believe we have. I don't believe we have. Just throwing things in LegCo, bananas and other things.
Do you fault the Democrats for this lack of trust by Beijing?
I think I do. I think that at the end of the day, there's a right way. You can have your own opinion, but there's a right way to conduct yourself. Even for young people, today we have a new group called scholarism, which is fine. Kids that for school that are supposed to be in school, secondary.
But they hold a lot of clout in the
They hold a lot
situation.
of clout today. You know, I'm just saying. So it's the pendulum has just swung too far.
To an extreme.
And that's,
you know, you've said, Mr. Zeman, that our future is tied very much to mainland China.
Correct.
Your future is also, because you're doing a lot of business there. But you know, there is a growing animosity with these mainland tourists coming. I know, you know, your ocean park, your Lan Kwai Fong, you want more tourists to come. But it's affecting daily lives of the people, fighting for the MTR and so on. Surely some people say that we really need to put a cap on this.
Absolutely. I think that we need to look at the moment, people are unhappy.
People are. I am, because I can't get on the MTR.
And if you look at a report I saw a few days ago, it wasn't the mainlanders that were blocking so much for the MTR. It was people going to work. More people were going to work. I mean, it depends what report you look at. Any city, any country that blocks tourists coming to their city will die. I mean, everybody in the world is now vying for the mainland tourists.
But we have the most tourists in the whole world.
Yes,
including the whole of the United States.
But if you look at, if we continue the way we are, there's different ways to deal with that. We have 18 districts in Hong Kong. At the moment, the mainlanders are basically in 4 districts.
That's correct.
2 in Kowloon and 2 in Hong Kong. We can look at enhancing the other districts, taking some of the load off of where they are. There's Lantau. You know, people don't realize when the bridge gets built between Hong Kong and Zhuhai, Macau, it'll be 25 minutes on the bridge.
Right.
Someone mentioned to me, I was in Macau the other day, and someone mentioned that actually when you land at the airport in Hong Kong, Chek Lap Kok, it'll be quicker to go to Macau
than it is to go to Central.
Than to go to Central. So Lantau is suddenly going to become totally very important, very different. That's why the C.Y. Leung's talked about building an infrastructure out there.
Mr. C.Y. Leung. James Teen was sitting here some time back and said that he is the worst of the 3 post-1997 chief executives. Do you agree with that?
No. I think that, listen, they all have their strengths and weaknesses. I think all of our chief executives really tried their best within the system that they have.
How do you think
they can't come from a party? They can't come from a party, so they're on their own. In the old days, they could count on. You can always count on the votes of the so-called
pro-establishment. You can't
pro-establishment. You can't, because they themselves are going for universal suffrage. So they've got to be seen to be listening to the public, seeing who's going to be there to vote for them. And so today, it's a very, very difficult job.
It's the system, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a system.
Rather
it's
than
not
the person.
It's not the person. Because, as I say, they have their strengths and weaknesses. Any team that they try to put together, everyone gets scrutinized, everyone gets criticized until, you know, every candidate, everyone that CY had on his cabinet got criticized.
Many of them had to leave after a few days.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I've got 1 minute left, Mr. Zeman. You know, you're chairman of Ocean Park. We talked about competitiveness of Hong Kong, whether it's game over for us. You say no, but we have a danger of that.
Absolutely.
You know, Ocean Park, which you're chairman of, is very successful.
Yes.
But, you know, people criticize it because over 80% of the visitors there are from the mainland. You're going to build a water world
80,
now.
50%. 50%.
Well, I read different figures.
You're wrong. You're getting it from the horse's mouth.
But you know, there is a water world coming up.
Yes.
Are you worried that this is going to be swamped by mainlanders to the point that locals are saying, forget it, we're not even going to come?
No, absolutely not. I came up with the idea for the water park a few years ago, and I really feel that it's something Hong Kong needs more things to do, more places where people can go, and I thought of it more for locals than even tourists. Mm-hmm. Tourists might come, will come. It'll be a very unique park. We're just in the middle of designing it at the moment. But I think that I'm not concerned. I think that it'll still, most people grew up with the old water world, and everyone kept saying, why can't you bring back water world?
Right.
And so that's why I thought it's important for us to bring it back. And it'll be a very unique park. I believe one of the best in the world when it's finished, when we're done with it. And so I really don't worry about too many mainlanders. I think we need a balance of both. And as I say, 50% of Ocean Park's attendance is mainland, 35% is Hong Kong, 38% is actually Hong Kong.
All right. I'm going to have to end right there. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Good evening.
Coming up, begin Japanology.